We are now in Springfield, Missouri. We've checked into a hotel, and this is, we're halfway to Louisville, Kentucky. We will be there tomorrow, hopefully. This trip has been really great so far, visiting our friend Matt Hankey in Norman, Oklahoma. We got to go to Oklahoma City and see all sorts of great stuff. We got to visit OU. Is it OU?
Yes.
And Norman is a beautiful college town. Oklahoma just completely was different than what I thought it was going to be like. It's a very metropolitan and beautiful city. There's some amazing homes and architecture there. The Oklahoma City Memorial was just wonderful to be able to see and hold in remembrance. So this trip has been pretty good so far. So I can't wait to get to Louisville, Kentucky. You know what's really getting to me is how green everything is in this part of the country. I'm so used to brown dirt and yuccas. And not to be putting down El Paso, I love the brown dirt and the yuccas. But this is a wonderful, interesting change of pace. So I can't wait to continue our journey tomorrow. And right now Joe's washing our clothes. And so we will have him check in later.
Alright, I'm going to go turn in our key, get a receipt. And we're going to go hit a meeting, and then we're going to head to Kentucky.
Here's my key.
Okay, cool. You with this?
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to the car?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll meet you out there.
Okay.
Okay, so it is day 3 of our trip. It is September 16th, right?
Yeah.
September 16th. We are leaving Springfield, Missouri. It was a lovely place to stay the night. And now we are headed to Kentucky, where we're going to go stay with... We're headed to Louisville, Kentucky, where we're going to stay with our friend Roger. And we're going to go through St. Louis. So I'm going to try to get some footage of the St. Louis Arch. And we'll see you in Louisville.
While the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home, 'tis summer and the people are gay, and the corn tops rise while the meadows are in bloom. Them birds are making music all the day. Said weep no more, my lady, oh, and weep no more today. And we'll sing one song for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home far away. Now the young folks roll on that little cotton floor, all merry, all happy and bright. By and by, hard times will come a-knocking at the door. My old Kentucky home, good night.
Hi, I'm Roger Braden, Valley Station, Kentucky. Run Valley Nightmares webpage on Facebook. Welcome to my man cave. I've got about 600 regular movies, which is pretty much everything I like. Horror sections on this side, comedy action on this side, and mostly what I haven't watched is down here. We won't count the burner copies I've got down here. There's hundreds of those. But and then I've got all my CDs and
I recognize
that
that poster right there.
Yeah, I think I've met these guys right here.
I remember signing that
Yeah,
too.
didn't Matt have one just like that?
That's pretty
I
awesome.
did, yeah.
So again, it's just something that my favorite movies is kind of what I start with in getting these. The Maniac poster, there was only 100 of those when Ebon Press put out the magazine, so I managed to get one of those.
Who signed that one?
The director, William Lustig.
Oh, okay.
So it's Lustig's
Nice.
on that. Of course, I got all the drive-in asylums
Oh, yeah.
and everything that he's ever done, and feel fortunate.
Oh,
enough
that's.
to,
Do you have them on a rack?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's a
neat.
little clear rack right here. Fortunate enough that Bill allows me to write for the magazine every so often.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
And I noticed you got a nice Horror and Son shirt collection going on right there.
Yeah, I've got all of Dustin's and Horror and Sons. I've got all of those. There's the orange one, and there's the old original design.
That's the only one I have. Yeah.
So, and my son's got all the other ones. So I made sure they all got those. Birthday
Yes.
present this year. And so it's the original soundtrack to The Burning.
Oh, wow.
And I absolutely love this. It's actually been opened before. Or the Prowler, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, then it opens up. But the awesome thing about this,
Oh, is it colored vinyl?
colored vinyl, but it's got Rosemary's Letter
Oh,
from
wow.
the beginning
Oh, that is cool.
of the movie. So, yeah, I absolutely love that. And then it's got the intro.
I've never seen that movie. So.
I haven't seen it in years and years, but I have it.
Okay, it's one of my absolute favorites. So,
Oh my goodness, look at that. How cool is that?
my son's got me this. They take very good care of their dad.
Good for them.
And the other one's a different color. And the old turntable does work, but it's not hooked up yet.
Oh, okay.
So, that's the same color, but it's a little bit
Oh,
different
that's-
splatter.
That's really cool.
That is awesome. I could just, like, and especially if that's on the turntable, I would probably just sit there and stare at it for
And
hours.
just stare at
like
the...
a lava lamp, you know?
Right.
Just look at the pretty colors going around and around. You know?
So the guy, Jeff Gaither, that we got the shirts from Caulfield's today, and there's the deck of playing cards.
Oh, wow.
There's only a few hundred of those made. So I've got the whole deck of the playing cards here. Everything from him.
Oh, cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
And you said he's a local artist, right?
Yes, yeah. He's born and raised here in Louisville, still lives here.
Okay.
So it's
And he's the original Rat Fink guy?
he
Or-
worked with
Oh, okay.
the Red Fink, so it's
Okay.
all of his art
Wow.
on here.
I have a hard time with stick figures, so when I see people that can draw stuff like that and paint stuff like that, it just boggles my
He's
mind.
amazing, self-taught artist.
Really?
Yeah, he never a class, but he got in with back in the '80s with the guy who did Rat Fink, and he basically took over that all during that time.
Okay.
And then Plug set, and there's only a few of them still out there. I had to open it just to make sure that it was real, and it is, but all the cards are in there, and that should be a full collection. If you bought the box, you got the full collection.
Oh, wow.
So, really happy with that too. I mean, this is various magazines, buttons, you name it, it's all in here. This, Black Christmas, Lynn.
Oh, yeah.
Griffin.
Oh, is that signed too?
Oh yeah, it's signed
oh, I'll
also.
be damned. That's awesome.
So, and
You know, the first time I saw that movie, I think I was in my early 20s, and that movie actually came out like before I was born, but I was already familiar with Christmas Story, of course, you know, because I'd seen that a million times, and then I saw that and I was like, this is the same guy, this is Bob Clark that did both of these movies, and here's one that's so near and dear to my heart as, you know, a kid, and I'm like, it's such a warm, fuzzy movie, and then I'm watching Black Christmas, and I'm like, oh my God, man, this is fucked up.
this is just brutal.
Yeah.
Just brutal. This is absolutely full of posters from Blood and Gourd,
Oh, I like
the magazine
them.
Blood and Gourd.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely full. Like I said, I opened it, but I haven't really gone all through them.
Okay.
And then this is, you probably guys
I
know
have
probably
that
that
one.
that's
Yep.
Texas Schlock.
From Brett, yeah.
This is the Cryptids.
Oh, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never saw this one.
The new Deep Red. That's the new reboot of Deep Red. And what I'm happy about on this one opposite side. It might be on the back. So I got number 13 out of 100. So I'm tickled to death to get number 13.
Oh, yeah,
To me, I'd rather have number 13 than number 1 anytime. So, some of the Fangorias.
Yeah, man. That is impressive.
After I bought number 7 in the store, and because of the cover, it was so violent. I believe it was number 7 was the Funhouse, and so I was embarrassed to get it, and so I subscribed. And so I subscribed all the way up until the 90s.
I think that's funny that you were embarrassed to go get it.
Yeah.
Like for me, that was like a ritual of pride, you know. Let me have the new Fangoria. It was like buying the newest Mad magazine. Or for me it was Guitar magazine.
I love Guitar magazine.
You know what? This was a very underrated horror flick, I thought. I just saw this recently again for the first time.
I'm Mad Man is great.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Directed by Tibor Takas, the guy that did The Gate. And
See, that would be the one I would take up to the drive-in this weekend, because it's got Tom on it. And Bob Martin, who was the Fangoria editor at the time.
Can I pick it up?
Sure.
Just to get...
There's the Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just absolutely full of horror stuff. This was a magazine that we got in school back in the 70s. It was Read magazine. They wanted you to read. So
I remember
this
that.
was all
yeah.
about Dracula, and it has a
nice.
puzzle maze on the back of it.
That's really neat.
And I got a couple of classic illustrateds from the 60s.
Oh, wow.
That's an iron-on. There was no way I was ever going to put that iron-on a shirt. I had to have it. Dracula for President.
That's awesome.
So it's just been put away for years.
That's cool. Aside from horse racing and bourbon, what is Kentucky known for? I think you know the answer to that question, so follow me, Alex. Who we have here? Colonel Harlan Sanders. I just had to pay a visit.
Casey was baseball mad, had the fever and had it bad. Just to root for the hometown crew, every Sioux, Casey Blue.
Even got chocolate bats. Let me see that again, Alex. Doing some bat shopping. The Louisville Slugger place.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll take an original bat.
These are the irregular cold bats they have.
Not quite right.
It says not recommended for game use or practice, but
I wasn't going to use it for a game.
I wouldn't either. At the Louisville Slugger Museum, or not museum, well, I guess it's a museum,
Yeah.
and a gift shop. I've got my obligatory souvenir magnet in the shape of Kentucky. So, awesome. There you go. He's doing the same thing.
Gotta get him filming.
Awesome.
Tracy Caulfield Johnson, and I am actually the granddaughter of the founder of Caulfield's Novelty. My grandfather started out as a photography studio. Don't know the exact date of that, but sometime around 1916. Of course, at that time, photography studios were sort of like video stores of the 80s. They were everywhere because it was kind of a new thing to have photographs, so they were huge. And so at some point, they decided that there were too many and maybe they should do a little something else. About that time, my father was hit by a car and was a small child. And so they had $25 in insurance money left over from the accident, and they took that $25 and bought some tricks and jokes and put them in the waiting room of the photography studio. Pretty soon, people were coming to us way more for the tricks and jokes, and so they discontinued the photography studio in 1920 and just became Caulfield's Novelty.
You can find us online at caulfields.com, or you can find us on Instagram at Caulfield's Novelty, Facebook at Caulfield's Novelty. We try to be all over the place.
And do you look forward to coming to work every day? Because I know I would.
I do, yeah. It's a great time. You always find something new. I've been here for 6 years, and I constantly find new things. So.
And are you just absolutely slammed on Halloween?
We get really busy. It gets to the point where you can barely walk around in the store, it gets really, really busy.
Well, I can see why. You have everything. This place is a filmmaker's dream. Thanks for talking to us, Trevor.
No problem.
Focus on my zero-turn lawnmower.
That's perfect.
Oh my goodness.
Just sit right in.
Yeah, get inside and dry.
That is.
It goes right to the ground. I mean, it's only about 3/4 of an inch.
I was going to say, just like a NASCAR, it's right to the ground.
So this is a skull you drive.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And there's the coffin dragster, complete with cobwebs.
Yeah.
I haven't had it down in a while.
Oh wow.
That's behind the hearse, but the hearse is at my house right now, so it's not moving.
That's so cool.
I'll be.
The back's made out of the same.
Would you
similar,
look at
except
that?
it's heavier steel. This is a single layer fiber.
That's awesome. I've seen this,
Yeah.
not live, but I've seen it on
Oh,
videos
okay.
and stuff like that. So, The Legend of the Goat Man, Poplik Train Trestle. It's multiple stories. One of the stories is that there was a farmer who had a lot of goats in this area. He was supposed to be part of a satanic cult, and the locals ran him out. They killed him. Years later, the sound of a goat would come around this trestle. See, it sounds like a baby. So people, when they was here, they thought a baby was in distress. And so it would bring them to the trestle, would lure them out onto the trestle because people thought that somebody was in trouble, when in fact it was the farmer who, after his death and the relationship that he had with his goat farm, it became the Goat Man. And so he would make this noise to lure people out onto the train trestle, which would then lure them to their death.
I see.
They would walk out onto the train trestle at night trying to find the baby, and either a train would come by, or the rumor is also that he could fly. So he would fly out of these woods, and off the trestle you would go.
Wow.
All right, so we are on I-71 right now, headed up north to Cincinnati. We had a couple of great days in Louisville, spending time with Roger and his mom, Bobby. They were such wonderful hosts. Everyone has been so great to us on the road so far. And Louisville was just amazing. It was so beautiful, so foresty, and just an absolute joy to be in. And now we are taking I-71 heading up to Cincinnati and Sandusky and Huron to meet up with our friends Chad and Rico, who are with Legacyverse Productions. But if you know our movies well, then Chad was in The Abode of Mad Tales and Rico was in The Bitter End. So it's going to be a pleasure to finally meet those guys in person. So
we're also going to get to meet Keith and Darcy Munden.
Yeah,
Keith and Darcy run Legacyverse, so that's going to be fun to get to see them. Austin Rossport's up there. I'm trying to think. I'm probably forgetting somebody. You have we know a bunch of people up there that we feel like we've known. Well, we've already been friends with them for years on Facebook. Now we get to hang out in person. I guess Rico's going to take us out to eat tonight, so it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
And it looks like we've already driven 1,500 miles, and how long do you think it's gonna? How many more miles to Sandusky do you think?
It's about 500 miles to Sandusky.
So 2,000 miles so far, and our trip has just begun. So
roughly, I haven't calculated it yet, but we're up there.
That sounds about right. So stay tuned, and we're gonna see you soon, Cincinnati.